All right, batting cleanup for us tonight will be David Barry. He did a cameo earlier today, but he's going to come and talk. We talked about public image, membership, strategic planning, foundation. How are you going to all tie this together? It's a lot of information, but we got to tie it together and put it down in writing so that we have a plan and that our goals are put down and we can achieve them. David, how are we going to do that?
Very delicately.
That was, I thought you said really easy. It's really easy, David, right?
Well, it really is, but let me get into my share here. I went into this morning saying I got to cut this down, and I added 5 slides. It didn't help. Okay, we're all set. Good. Susan, my wife and I watched this movie, Father Stew. It was a really good movie. I mean, I took a lot of moral issues to it, but I love this phrase that I wrote down right away. Hope is not a tactic. I mean, you're going to be a president next year, and you're going to plan. You're not going to hope something happens. You're going to plan it. Okay. Hope is not in the president's vocabulary is really what I was thinking. I mean, we're going to have a vocabulary that's going to show up as, actions and words in terms of this process, monitor, tactics, objectives, plans, goals. So I'm going to tie all that together so that you can look at, probably it's my engineering background, which has a very linear approach to things. So stick with me as I go through a little bit of the goals and some issues in which Matt was talking about, but a different perspective. And then we'll talk about how to get this sort of done in a lot of this in Rotary Club Central. Okay. You people are all business people, most of you, or else you literally need a planning process of some sort. And I look at it this way: you set your goals, you devise your tactics, you plan the process, you come up with actions, you monitor what you're doing, you accomplish those goals. And look at it in the business sense, in which if you're going to try to increase your profits by 10% over a fiscal year, maybe you'll pick a tactic that's going to be increased social media marketing. Makes sense. How about the process itself? Well, you're going to have to hire an expert and provide a budget and this sort of thing. But the actions maybe are going to have the sense of create a cross multimedia social media platform. So that might help you a lot. Now, there are many other action plans you could put in with this, but and tactics. But then you're going to monitor it. You're going to see how well you're doing, and you hopefully by the end of that period, you're going to have accomplished what your goals are. Same thing with Rotary. Absolutely no difference. You want to increase your membership by 10% over 1 year. You can do it possibly with a tactic that says increase social media marketing, where the process is you're going to assign this time, you're not going to hire, you're going to assign an expert and provide the budget funding for that. The actions will be the same: create cross multi social media platforms. And your monitoring will be basically same. And this time you're going to be looking at membership increase. Hopefully by the end of that period, you're going to, not hopefully, it's going to be accomplishing that goal. If you created that process of planning, okay. I generally feel that 99% of you have heard this concept of SMART goals. And I just want to repeat it again for those 3%, if you don't mind. SMART is really using the letters of specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time related is really what you're looking for. If I want to save enough money for a vacation, I have a specific goal. It's there. But it's absolutely useless unless I have some sort of measurable quantity to this. And so I'm going to replace the enough to read it to 5,000. I want to save $5,000 for a vacation. Oh, is that a good enough, well-worded goal? Absolutely not, because the goal has to be time related at all times. I want to save $5,000 for a vacation by November the 1st, 2023. You notice I jumped over 2 in the SMART because those 3 that I've listed, specific, measurable, and time-related, are the quantifiable elements of what a good, well-worded goal should be. But the other side of that is the qualitative. Is it reasonable in our circumstances to have that goal? Am I going to be able to save 5,000? And relevant. So is the goal itself relevant? Is 5,000 going to be enough? Does it do what I want it to do? So when you look at this sort of thing, you really got to recognize that being specific about what your goal is all about is a key element to the whole thing. Specific, measurable, time-related, achievable, and relevant. Okay. Matt had a suggestion about strategic planning, and I just want to do the comparison between what I feel that Rotary International does a lot of is annual planning. And the difference is very simple. Strategic planning could be 3 years, 4 years, 5 years out, but it's still setting the goals, devising the tactics, creating the actions, monitoring it, and accomplishing it. 1 year might be a step to accomplish something in 1 year, but it could also be a step to accomplish the strategic plan 3 years ahead of you. Okay, so it has the same tactics here. You set the goals, devise the tactics, action, monitor, and accomplish. So recognize that an annual plan sometimes can be a step towards reaching that strategic plan. But an annual plan can also be something you simply want to do on this annual basis. It's something different. A little graphic that I've often used is following on what Matt was suggesting, is creating mission statements, vision statements, and values. And that goes towards the success goals. So really, the mission is what you are today, the vision is what you want to be tomorrow, and the values are how are you going to get there? How will we do this? They're usually thought in terms of honesty and doing what's fair and this sort of thing. But really what you're going to end up is with the idea of a goal defining what the destination is going to be. But what you're going to do, because it's a strategic goal, is over 3 or 4 years, maybe 5, is annual goals that mean you're going to monitor and adjust those tactics to get there. And let's say we're going to increase membership over 5 years by 10 people. We're going to make our plans to do that. And on an annual basis, we're going to see how well, and this is exactly what Matt was saying. We're going to see how well we're doing. We might not do as well as we want to in all cases, but we're going to adjust our tactics. We're going to come out with successful goals in the long run because we've been able to look at it that way. Why do we want strategic planning? Because it allows our club to be proactive rather than reactive. If you're reactive, you're responding to how things are going, and that's not going to help you accomplish the end goal. It sets up a sense of direction for the club too. So the club is involved in this, deeply involved in this, and they get the sense of where they're going in the future. It means we have an increased operational efficiency, which means everybody can work together and be efficient about what they're doing. It helps to bring together memberships with purpose. And it can make a club more durable. So it's going to last longer. So if strategic planning is the way to go, recognize that I have a little quandary as why the Club Central, the Rotary Club Central, pays attention to the annual goals that we do. And Rotary Club Central has 25 annual goals listed in that, and I'll show you how to get into that. Okay. Rotary International has set those goals. and says, oh, to be able to accomplish the awards that you want, you're going to have to accomplish 13 of these goals, which is fair. Okay. But it's still only an annual goal. It really doesn't talk about success goals in a long-term proposition. And it fails to tie in the annual goals to the success goals and the long-term strategic planning. So it's a fault in Rotary Club Central of which you can adjust to. So with in mind the success goals that you have for 4 years down the road, this is what you're going to do. With in mind the second year, and this is why it's so important to have your president-elect and vice presidents and everybody in line with the success of the strategic goals. And so they know that at the end of the year, they have taken one more step towards success. And during that annual process, they have monitored the tactics that you've decided and adjust accordingly. Okay, so it's very important to keep that in mind at all times. The planning tool itself, the Rotary Club Central, I've given you a handout that I think is very, very useful in terms of bringing the information to your club, bringing it to the board, bringing it to the club, the chairs, and eventually bringing it to the club. So you'll be able to set your goals and monitor the success of those goals all the time. Now, I've given that to you in handouts that were sent to you during some of the emails, and I put it on the chat, but it is available through our district site, and I'll show you at the end how you find that. Okay, let's look at the first page. It's really what you're looking at is there's going to be 5 different categories within Club Runner, and you have goals within each one of those. There's 7, I believe, for membership and engagement. Look at the ideas, what they're talking about. First one is club membership. How many total members does your club want by the end of the Rotary year? You, as a president, will set the goals. You will monitor your accomplishments as you go along. But more important, on the right-hand side, you will assign the actions to somebody so that you always know who is going to be reporting about the success of that. Okay, who is responsible for that? Service participation. How many members will participate in club service activities during the Rotary year? New member sponsorships. And this goes on. I'll go to the second page. Fellowship participations, district training participations. Not a hard thing to accomplish, but you've got to make sure that when it comes to the district training assembly, that if you've got 5 people in here, somebody is responsible for assigning those 5 people or getting those 5 people to go to the training session assembly. The Rotary Foundation giving. Annual fund, polio gone. You know what these are, right, Sandy? Major gifts, bequest societies, benefactors, endowment fund. So really what you're looking for in this case is, let me go back, is the idea that you set the goals for the club, you monitor the success of it, and you have a chair for the foundation that will help you out to accomplish that. So the action plan assignment is probably to the chair. Can I mention one thing at this point? I'm going to go down to the last one. During the year, the endowment fund as a benefactor or will make an outright gift of $1,000 or more to the endowment fund. You might have 0 for that. Now, what I'm saying here is your goal for this year might be 0. But in 3 years ago, you're going to do enough campaigning in order to be able to accomplish your long-term strategic goal of 4 of these. And you see what I'm saying? So that think about this as not every one of these goals can be made. Okay, so you might just simply put the goal as 0, but the objective should be to adopt one of these as a long-term strategic goal and acquire a plan to reach that within a year or two. And I
Dave,
think
can I just say on the goals, can you just go up just a little bit? On the foundation goals, that includes your club members as well as you.
Yeah.
And if you look back, we give you your standings, what you were the last 5 years, so you can take it off of those.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. You can see exactly what you did before. And I'll try to get time to be able to do this. I think I can. Okay, so the only one I really wanted to point out here was the service objectives, and there's only a number expected here. And I'll show you where you put that in, okay? Rotary clubs, youth clubs, inbound and outbound youth. These are all on this list. So you end up with 25 of them, public image, 5 categories. Don't forget the Lighthouse Award. It's also on that checklist. And you have to accomplish 13 out of the 25 in the RI, Rotary International list, and also 5 of these. The big winner of the Governor's Trophy is going to be the one who has the most of these checked. Okay, so recognize what you're really doing in terms of this. You're using the Rotary International system to be able to accomplish your goals, but don't forget it's going to be a challenge. And how do you get 6 directors and 5 committee chairs to set the goals for their responsibilities? How do you note how that planner aligns with all the areas of the goal center? But you've got to get people to buy in for these. And to me, it says, IDA, involve your committees and directors, discuss it and agree with it. So what that really means is that you're going to have to set a schedule up now. By May, you're going to have to review your strategic goals or plan on having strategic goals reviewed during your year. Develop the annual goals. Get the board of directors and the club approval for what you're going to be doing. You're going to have to early on assign the members to execute, monitor, and report those goals. And then you're going to have maybe quarterly, maybe monthly, I don't care how you do it, but you're going to have the reporting of those goal status. You wouldn't in business let the objective of increasing profit go without saying, how are you doing with that? So let's look at our goals and have reporting mechanisms so that you can check and balance and improve maybe. Using Rotary Club Central to track, you go to myrotary.com. I'll show you this. The one problem with me going live into Rotary Club Central is that it's so slow that I can't get all of this. So I'm staying with the slides if you don't mind. I'll show you how to hopefully sign in, and we'll show you some of the actions, but let's go into this to begin with. This is Rotary Club Central's first screen. It's really going to be the idea that it's a dashboard only, and it'll give you summary statistics about what you did for the last many years. Okay. The left-hand side is simply a menu selection, and you'll notice you can go to Goal Central. There's a series always of different tabs you can pick, no matter what page you're on. And then there's the content area. This is the way in which their setup goes. I'm going to concentrate on Goal Central and the service activities. I encourage you to go into this Rotary Club Central and just look around. One of the areas that you might really like is the reports area. And I think that's fairly important to do. You'll see a lot of valuable information. Let's start at the Goal Center alone. The Goal Center, of course, I've just got a single screen here, so I've got to move that up there. Okay, this is the Goal Center. And again, like I said, on the left-hand side, I've selected Goal Center, the blue. There's a tab here of different clubs, so make sure you get into the right club. At least there is with mine. There's a year. Notice I've got this set at 17, 18. Okay. And that'd be no use for you to go into to work with. Okay. So set the year to the year you're working. The tab here has the 6 different, I said 5, 6 different categories. And you can select any one of those tabs, or you can select all, and all 25 of those goals come up. And the thing you do is select the group, make sure you're in the right club, make sure you're in the right year, then select your tabs. Okay. The routine for this is check your date, check your category, edit, enter, and save. I'll show you. First of all, what you do is you recognize that you have an edit button here. So after I've changed so I'm in the right club, then I go, let me go down here. Okay. After I get into the right year, I select one of these areas and then I press edit. Ensure you're in the right club. Ensure you're in the right year. Select the category you want to work with and click edit. And once you've done that, it bumps into that category and it has save and cancel up here. Don't touch save first. Makes little sense. Select the goal, because the little green check mark beside it, that allows you to set the goal. In other words, if this is selected green, I can go in and change that goal and then save it. This gets, if you don't save it and you exit out of that, then you've lost everything you've done. It's the old-fashioned way. Okay. So make sure you select the goal, or select the goal with a click, then set the goal, and be sure to save it.
Give me an example of what the numbers mean.
Oh, well, let's take club membership. In club membership, we set the goal 37. And where we achieved or accomplished 38. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Under service participation, we set it at 37. And quite frankly, we wait till the end of the year usually, because that's when our Rib Fest is and everybody gets involved in that. So I haven't set some of these. I just took the screen. So we go in and I'll show you how to do the accomplishments shortly. Okay. One thing you'll notice here that 38 is set not by me or you. It's set by Rotary International. So if they look at their records and say that your club has 38 members, it shows up here. Does that make sense? They don't trust you to count your members. I'll mention that. So date, category, edit, save. So accomplishments is the same sort of thing. I go in here, I set the date, I make sure everything's right, I check off here, and I put the number in for the accomplishments. New member sponsorship. That's what I've achieved. Okay. Then save. Okay. Some accomplishments or achievements are automatically set. And I turn off the recording of this, please, somebody. Oh, that's me. This isn't complimentary. As you enter activities in the service activities, they will automatically be counted, and I'll show you how to do that. If it's money, in other words, how much was donated, RI will record your accomplishments. If it's membership, RI will record your accomplishments. So you have no ability to go in and set the accomplishments for those things, except service activities. I'll show you that. Well, look at what RI's goal is. More members leading to more funding. Okay, well, face it. We all need more members in order to be able to get more funding. Okay, looking at service activities. And what I'd like to do is just go into that one tab. And like I said, when I went into service activities and set the number in the goals, it was only the number of service activities. And I'll define that shortly. First page, you set up a service activity. Now, we've done things like the Rotary TV auction and RibFest. So all you have to do is, well, make sure you're in the right year, for goodness sakes, I keep warning you, is go to repeat past service and it'll automatically transfer the descriptions of everything over. It's like doing your taxes by computer. All of a sudden it knows your SIN number or whatever you call it in the States. Social insurance. Okay. So it knows the information about that. If you want to add a new service project, you click this one. Okay. So next one is the next page. You input the descriptions. You get 1,000 characters to describe it. Okay. You input the dates. And if your project is completed and when your project is completed, then you can check this little slider and it will assign the project as complete and put a number increase way back in the goal center. So under the service area, you will have an increased number there of accomplishments. Now, I'm going to enlarge this part to show you what you report back to Rotary International. Okay, first of all, for your project, if it happens to be Catch the Ace or any project, you have to report the number of volunteers. Now, that doesn't say Rotary volunteers. It might be you've got 15 other family and friends that have volunteered. Does that make sense? So the number of community volunteers, both projected and achieved. You have to keep track of the number of hours. Now that's hard in a big project. So I'll be honest with you. Turn off the recording again, please. I'll be honest with you. It comes to the idea of in a big project, I look at the number of volunteers and I can basically add up from the volunteer section of Club Runner how many hours they spent. Okay. But it's a rough estimate. And I always take the approach that it's not going to be exact, but in the case of Rotary, what's fair is right. Okay. Then you do the cash contributions. You can change this to Canadian dollars and it will respond to whatever the American dollars is at the time. And then you have the value of donated goods. I've never used that one, but it makes sense for some projects. And then categories and partners. So if you're in with another Rotary club, you list Rotary clubs as partners. If you're in with another service club, maybe there's a listing there. But the categories, and this is important because it defines what the service area is one of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different categories. Okay. It can be a fundraiser, but it also can involve the community. So why not check both of them? And it allows you to. It can be an international project. It can be a vocational project, young leaders, area focus. It could be a community one and a specific area focus. Okay. So you look at that and you can follow through with that. So goals. What are they? RI goals, input accomplishments, and the service activities are what you're all about. What you're going to find is those service activities are going to be back in that other area. So I think that's pretty well all I had to say. Was I early? Did it go too fast?
Perfect, David.
Okay.
Perfect.
I could go into, if you don't, I'll stop my share. And show you what to do in Rotary Club Central if you got a minute.
Go ahead, David.
Okay.
We're in overtime, so feel free to free will a little bit here.
Okay. Okay. In this case, we're live. Okay. Let me get back there. So again, the dashboard shows that. I'll click on Rotary. Okay, and you'll see that I can go down here. I'm going to change one number. I'll change it back later, but you'll notice that I make sure I'm in the right club. I make sure I'm in the right year, and I go to edit. Notice that it changed there. So I've selected action groups. I just happen to know that action groups here. I belong to a photography club for Rotary. There's another guy that belongs to an antique car club. So let's say I know for sure there's 4 that are involved in action groups. And that could be the environmental area. It could be whatever. So I just do that, then come up here and save it. So I've changed that action group to 4. And you'll do the same thing when you go to achievements and you set those same way. Okay, service activities, very quickly. Go into that. There's service activities. We haven't reported anything. I shouldn't have gone there, but I go to past and look at all these projects that we've done in the past. Okay, and we could do the Rib Fest. I'm not going to do it if you don't mind. Ribs to Go, Pedal for Polio, Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup. And as soon as I click that, and it copies the project over, and I will get that as a new project down below. Okay. Now, does that make sense?
Well, I think people have a general gist of this.
Okay. The one thing that you should recognize is that if you go to the district under toolboxes, there's a whole area on Rotary Club Central. You simply download anything you want from that. There are videos there to show you how to do some of these things. It shows you how to get into My Rotary. It shows you how to get into everything you need and how to change things. Okay, that's all, folks.
Hey, real quick show of hands. Everybody familiar with Rotary Club Central? Well, no, I mean, one of the things that I've come across is that some people are not comfortable with the technology. They're not really certain of it, and the question would be, do people want to have more hands-on work with Rotary Club Central so they get these things put down in place? If so, we'll coordinate with your AGs to do some area group meetings to get those goals put in place for you guys.
Yeah.
We definitely want that filled up so that we can monitor what's going on. So you can monitor what's going on. You want to find out what kind of success you're having. This is a great way of doing it. So listen, full night tonight. Hats off to everyone who has been participating tonight and helping out along the way, starting with Dave Schultz, Michelle Starwell Woods, Matt Smith, Sandy Shard, and batting cleanup David Barry. Thank you so very much for all that you've done tonight to help us out. I hope everybody appreciates the time and effort that these presenters have put into their to helping us out today. Annette has a hand. Oh, she's clapping, or what? Are you a question? Feel free to ask a question, Annette.
Very quickly, yes, thank you, all presenters. One quick question about Rotary Club Central. When you went in there, I'm under the impression you changed a goal number. So are you actually saying you can change your goal number partway through the year? Oh.
It's actually what I say all the time, Annette. Put a goal in for foundation. It doesn't matter. You can change it.
That's right. That's right. Before the year is over, it can be changed unofficially.
I mean, let's be reasonable. I mean, the system is set up so that you will have a means to set goals. And and Matt said it very well. You remember that little part in which things were exploding in the middle? Okay.